This is Autoline Daily, the show dedicated to enthusiasts of the global automotive industry. CEO Koji Sato just finished up his first full fiscal year at Toyota. The numbers look fantastic now, but it's spending a boatload of money this year, which is really going to cut into its financial results. Toyota and Lexus sold a little more than 10.3 million vehicles in the year, which is a jump of 7.3% compared to last year. That brought in almost $290 billion in revenue, up over 20%. Its operating profit was up over 96% to $34.4 billion, and its net profit hit nearly $32 billion, a massive jump of nearly 102%. But as was the case with all the Japanese automakers in the fourth quarter of last year, Toyota is still benefiting from a weaker yen. And the company is going to spend $11.2 billion on electrification, software, and AI, and expects its net profit for the next fiscal year to be down by almost 28%. BMW is showing the effects of increased manufacturing costs. In the first quarter of the year, the group, including BMW, Mini, and Rolls-Royce, delivered roughly 594,500 vehicles, a slight increase of 1.1% compared to last year. But due to those higher costs, revenue came to 36.6 billion euros, which is down 0.6%. It might have been even worse, but with improved semiconductor chip supplies, BMW was able to make more high-priced models. The group's EBIT, or earnings before interest and taxes, was a bit over 4 billion euros, down almost 25%, and its net profit was down over 19% to a little under 3 billion euros. And really, BMW's results for the full year will probably look similar to this, a slight increase in sales, but a decrease in earnings as it continues to deal with higher costs and as it invests in future models. EV startup Rivian is losing nearly $40,000 on every vehicle it sells. It revealed in its Q1 results that it delivered over 13,500 vehicles, which is an increase of almost 50% compared to last year. Those vehicles brought in $1.2 billion in revenue, which is an increase of over 82%. But its net loss came to $1.45 billion, and its gross profit per vehicle delivered was a negative $38,784. Rivian says that's mainly due to supplier costs and improvements to the R1 platform, as well as investments for production of the all-new R2. For the whole year, Rivian expects to make 57,000 vehicles and to even post a modest profit in the fourth quarter. And getting off all these sales and financial numbers, here's a little fun stat before the break. In the entire U.S., there is currently one fast charging station for every 15 gas stations. In California, it's one for every 5. But the city of Shenzhen in China is the very first to claim that it has more fast chargers than gas stations. It says it has a total of 362 fast chargers, and its charging volume reached 670 million kilowatt hours in Q1, an increase of 11%. The city doesn't say how many gas stations it has, but it did go fully electric with its bus and taxi system several years ago.
There's nothing wrong with heavy metal.
Hey, lighten up.
But with world-class composite material, Teijin Automotive Technologies makes vehicles lighter, safer, and more eco-friendly.
Elon Musk has famously bashed the need for Lidar in autonomous vehicles. He said that Lidar is, quote, a fool's errand, and that it is, quote unquote, doomed, and that they're expensive sensors that are unnecessary. But is he pulling back on that? According to Lidar maker Luminar's first quarter earnings report, Tesla was its largest customer and bought $2 million worth of Lidar technology. Tesla has used Luminar's Lidars for testing and development in the past, but Luminar says it can only speculate what Tesla is doing with $2 million worth of Lidars. But perhaps this is what the company will be using them for. During Elon Musk's visit to China last month, China Daily reports that Musk proposed equipping China's taxis with Tesla's full self-driving or FSD technology. It reportedly received partial support to test them, but it still doesn't have approval for widespread use of FSD in the taxis. It was previously reported after the meeting that the government gave the go-ahead for Tesla to roll out its FSD technology for passenger vehicles in the country. The company is planning to unveil its Robotaxi in August, and Elon Musk has shifted most of the company's focus to that model. And speaking of Tesla in China, sales of Tesla's China-made vehicles fell in April. According to the China Passenger Car Association, Tesla sold more than 62,000 China-made vehicles last month, a drop of 18% compared to a year ago. Deliveries were also down 30% compared to March. And while Tesla is slumping, sales of electric vehicles in China are rising. Sales of new energy vehicles, which includes BEVs and PHEVs, reached 800,000 units in April, up 33% compared to last year. China's biggest automaker, BYD, saw its sales go up nearly 50% to just over 312,000 vehicles. European government officials sure are talking the hard talk against allowing low-cost Chinese EVs into the market. Earlier today, the president of the European Commission said that Europe needs to take steps to prevent Chinese-made EVs from flooding the market. The EU is concerned that Chinese companies are receiving unfair subsidies that put them at a competitive advantage over European automakers. So, EU officials are considering imposing tariffs on Chinese-made EVs, which could happen as soon as July. But not all automakers are on board with the tariffs. BMW CEO Oliver Zipse warned against them and said, quote, "Our industry doesn't need protection." First off, BMW imports EVs made in China to Europe, so they'd be slapped with those tariffs too. But Zipse said the tariffs could also hurt Europe's stricter CO2 emission goals that kick in next year. That's because European automakers are reliant on Chinese battery materials, and Zipse says that, quote, "There will be no single car in the EU without components from China." And Zipse is probably afraid of retaliatory action from China if the EU imposes tariffs on EVs imported from China. We've seen U.S. officials back off EV content rules because it would have been hard for automakers to comply. So we wonder if something similar will happen in Europe. Daimler Truck revealed a prototype version of its electric e-Cascadia semi-truck equipped with Level 4 autonomous technology. The self-driving system was developed by Torque Robotics, an independent subsidiary of Daimler Truck. Daimler is currently testing the trucks on U.S. highways, driving them to and from its freight centers. The company says that while it is testing the system in an electric e-Cascadia, the technology has the potential to evolve into a modular, scalable platform that can work with any powertrain. Daimler Truck is aiming to introduce Level 4 autonomous trucks in the U.S. by 2027, and that it expects the business to generate $3.2 billion in revenue by the end of the decade. And before we go, I realize I've been a crummy promoter of our own content. We've now got several new videos with John and Terry Wachowski from Caresoft on their teardown of the Cybertruck. And we've also got Autoline After Hours coming up tomorrow. But that's the end of this show. Thanks for tuning in.
Autoline Daily is brought to you by Bridgestone, solutions for your journey. Intrepid Control Systems, over-the-air engineering boost your game. Teijin Automotive Technologies, the formula for better mobility. And by ZF.
When the elements are working against you, being confident in your grip on the road is what really matters. Bridgestone Alenza tires, improved acceleration in wet conditions.
Immerse yourself in engineering innovation while enjoying a fun and engaging networking environment. Get ready for exciting new demonstrations and collaboration with Metro Detroit automotive engineers, R&D, operations professionals, and technical experts. Connect with professionals covering topics on software-defined vehicles, wireless battery management, virtual ECUs, the ongoing innovation in automotive Ethernet, 10-base T1S, and much more. Calibrate your knowledge in the shift towards centralized computing and software-defined vehicles for free at Intrepid's SDV Social on Wednesday, May 8th from 4 to 7 p.m. To register for this event, visit intrepidcs.com/SDV Social.